Welcome, ladies and nerds, back to I'm Not Famous. After a whole year, we're back, and that means, yes, that's right, my main man right here, Kerry's back with me too. What's up, Kerry?
Let's go!
Go. It's been far too long. I feel like it was, November 2019 was the last time we actually did a recording session?
Yeah, I feel like it's been like 5 years ago right now.
That's it.
So you could say 2019. It feels like it'd be 2015 to me at this point.
That's very true. So I'm Not Famous is not about us. Well, the title is about us. We're not famous, but we're interviewing and hanging out with awesome and cool people. And in this session, we're doing just the same. So without further ado, let's introduce our guest, Elle Newlands. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yay! Burp, burp, burp. Make all the noises. I don't know. How is it going today?
It's going.
It's going. That's the right answer, I guess.
The answer, right? It's going. It's 2021. We're still in a pandemic. I don't know what day it is. I don't know what time of the day it is. I barely know what month it is, but it's going.
That's all and completely accurate. And before we dive, well, I already said this line, so it sounds terrible. But before we dive too deep again, I guess I'll just keep using that line. Let's let the people know what you're all about. And I think one of the biggest things, which you also, I think, have cosplayed the character recently, is Horizon in Apex Legends. But you're also an actress, a voice actress. You were doing audiobooks today. You said you do all kinds of things, web series, photography. You're a Jill of all trades, I guess would be the way to put it, huh?
I think you were going to call me a jackass of all trades.
That's Kerry's title. That's Kerry's title, right?
somewhat accurate, but for me, because I don't know Kerry, I'm sure you're lovely. Indeed. Yeah, I've been doing an audiobook. I do a lot of audiobooks. I am indeed Horizon and Apex Legends. I am indeed a photographer, and I did cosplay her, although I didn't cosplay her entire. I cosplayed her from the head up because her outfit, her skins, as they're called in the game, are extremely complicated because she is an astronaut, an astrophysicist, a doctor, and she hangs out a lot in space. So her attire is very, very hard to. I mean, I don't even know how I would start to do that. It's really complex. But I did buy a wig. I bought a red wig, and she wears goggles, like aviator goggles, and she has like a little pen, like a stylus that she always carries around, and she's clicking it all the time. And so that was the image that I used.
We got a picture of her right there. You tell me you didn't have a space costume just laying around?
Yeah, I mean, look at that. It's like, what? No.
Now, Kerry is probably the least nerdiest of the Project Nerd crew. So, Kerry, tell me your familiarity with Apex Legends.
See, you took it. I was going to ask for all of our Luddite viewers that have not been on any of these kind of things. What is Apex Legends? I am not familiar with it. I don't know if it's a game, if it's a anime. I couldn't tell you one thing about Apex Legends.
Well, it's awesome. It's a battle royale game, and that basically means it's a team. It's like teams. It's not like a single shooter where it's just you. It's like you're in squads. That's about as much as I know. I don't play it, not because I don't want to, but because it's actually a very, very complicated game, and it's quite a steep learning curve. And I just have not had the time to sit down and really dedicate to it. Although I have had a number of gamers and fans of the game reach out and ask me to start streaming and just even if I'm really bad. So at some point I may do that.
What platform is it on? Is it a computer-based game, or is it a?
It's on Xbox. It's on PS, PlayStation, and it's also on PC. And I think they just announced. I don't know if it's out yet. I think it might be. It's also on mobile phone.
Oh, well, there you go, Kerry. Now you can get into it.
Yeah,
check it out.
It's free. Hang on, that was my email. It's free, but my character isn't. I don't think my character's free. There's it's like an original squad of legends. That's Apex Legends. It's the original squad, and then I'm one of the kind of newer legends. And I think to get me, you have to pay for me. I'm not free. As it should be.
All right.
Okay.
Looks like by October of this year we'll have it on mobile. So
yeah, they just
we got
announced
time.
it. Yeah, they announced it. So
Right. Perfect. Awesome. Awesome. Well, that's a little bit about Elle, but let's also talk a little bit about this season's theme on I'm Not Famous, because do we have a surprise for our listeners? Oh, we're a little too fast.
Ask any racer, any real racer. It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
Fast and Furious. All of our, I think we were all three talking about how the first Fast and Furious, at least, is one of our, each of us, it's in our top 5 movies all time. I'm pretty sure that's what we were all in agreement on.
Well, it's ranked Fast and Furious 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
those are your top 5 movies of all
5.
time. Top 5 movies of all time. So, Elle, have you seen the Fast and Furious movies? Any of them?
I think I maybe saw the first one.
The first one.
And then I think that was potentially enough for me to,
That was enough.
to never miss it ever again.
You haven't missed anything in the other 7. It's the same concept. It is a furious way of going fast. But it was 2001. 2001 is when I believe it released out here. So 2001, I just graduated high school and I was 18 years old. So yeah, it's been a process trying to rewatch those movies.
Kerry has done the legwork to rewatch them before we started recording. So kudos, Kerry, because I definitely didn't revisit any of the ones. I definitely wasn't going to.
It hasn't aged well, I will tell you that. 17 years or what 20 years now, it has not aged that well.
Well, I was gonna ask if you guys were thinking that maybe with the elevator pitch for that movie, it was like, well, yeah, we just want to go fast, furiously.
Yeah. It was.
Hey, let's greenlight this. Let's greenlight this. This sounds intriguing. Let's give them 20 years worth of franchise of going fast, furiously. That's it.
It sounds like it. It was inspired. So this is a fun fact, and I have it right here on the screen. It was inspired by a Vibe magazine article. That's what the first movie was inspired.
Wow.
That's the recipe for a hit franchise. And
because it is a hit franchise. Jeez.
Yeah, I think the franchise has made billions of dollars for sure. But Kerry, you're right. Like, I did show my fiance, obviously hasn't seen any of them either, but I did take the time this past week to show her the clip from the most recent one where Jason Statham is on the airplane and he has to save a baby off of an airplane. So he puts the earmuffs with the classical music on the baby and then is spinning around the baby carrier while he's like shooting people, and the doors for the airplane are flying open and people are being sucked out, but he's taking care of the baby. It is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen in probably
it's like a car seat too. The baby's in a car seat, right?
Oh yeah.
It's not like I would have loved it if it was like Jason Statham was carrying it and doing all this.
Baby Bjorn.
Yeah.
Like a
those little backpacks where the head's just sticking out, just like a little helmet on at the top. But yeah, it is definitely a guilty pleasure for a lot of people. I am not one of those people.
You punished yourself the past week. So I think, are you telling me, let's see, NBC Universal actually have it on the screen. We're not affiliated with them.
We are not.
They say, Elle, you get to be in Fast and Furious 10. You get to pick the character you are. What character are you going to play?
I think I'd want to play a character that moved really slow. Just to screw with the algorithm of the whole thing. I don't know. Maybe a tortoise? Like, can I have like tortoise superpowers or something? Where
you just in like a slow car, like you're the one that pulls up and it just takes off, and you're just creeping in like a grocery getter.
I'm just like the lowrider, like my arm hanging out the window, cloud of like haze coming out. Like, hey guys, what's up? Like that's me. I think I'd be the slowest version of the Fast and the Furious. I think they've done it fast for so long. It's like, I think maybe switch up a little, guys. That being slow is like the way to go now.
I think it'd work, and then you could be in the Tyrese Ludacris music video because they're still in like all the movies, right?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly like. I think that's a really great character for me. Just like, hey guys, what's up? You know, I don't know, just taking my time here. Everyone else is moving around me. Vin Diesel is like, working up a sweat. I'm assuming he's still in it.
Yeah.
I don't even know who's in the movies. I'm assuming Vin Diesel's still in it because I think that's like Vin Diesel's thing,
Yes.
right? That's his vehicle.
I think he's the executive producer.
Okay.
I don't think he directs them anymore, right? I think he's kind of like Sylvester Stallone. Like he built it, then he kind of stepped away, but he still produces it, so he still makes a lot of money. It's the only reason we now continue to see Vin Diesel on the screen.
Yeah.
But once they added The Rock, that you're guaranteed like a bunch of movies that The Rock
is The Rock in it? I didn't know.
Yeah.
He's been in the last 2 or 3, I think, like just a couple of them. Yeah.
And I'd like to amend it. I'd like to change my character to. Well, she can still be very slow, but she would be The Rock's love interest.
Okay.
And just to throw a wrench in it because it's Fast and Furious. Idris Elba was also in the last one too. That is my dude.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
So Kerry's saying he's Idris Elba's love interest is what he's saying.
It has to be a love triangle.
A love triangle.
You're playing The Rock against Idris Elba because Idris Elba was the villain. So you can play that slow character, that slow love story.
Yeah, it's a slow burn.
I love it. I love it. This is perfect.
I think we're actually writing, we might be writing the synopsis for what? 21? Is that like what we're
Number 21?
You might as well take that little that icon down. We might as well now be affiliated with NBC Universal. We are now co-writers of Fast and Furious 10 Slow Burn.
Yeah, that's it. It's the Fast and Furious Slow Burn, and I'm the Slow Burn love triangle. With Rock and Idris Elba, like, hello, that's hi. You've just mapped out my 2022 for me, so
We're all about bringing people together. Idris Elba, The Rock, yourself. You're welcome.
I think this sounds like a hit. I'm all over it. Sign me up. Yeah.
No, I would actually watch that one. I ain't gonna lie. I would watch that one.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the movie theater. I'd still probably illegally stream it.
Still not paying money for it.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, Elle, the last movie that I watched in a movie theater also starred Vin Diesel. I might have went with that gentleman there.
You did.
We watched Bloodline.
No,
at
Bloodshot.
the Alamo Draft House. No, Bloodshot. Yeah.
Bloodshot.
I think Bloodline would have been better, but that was the last movie I've watched in a movie theater.
I would rather go see a Fast and Furious movie before going to see that movie again, basically. That's how bad it was.
That'll be a trivia thing later in the episode.
That's it. So that was actually, you bring up a really big thing there because that was the last movie we went to.
Yep.
We were at the Alamo Draft House, and I had to get up like 10 times to leave the movie because that was the night that like everything started happening. So the next morning was supposed to be Meet the Teacher for my kids, and they called us during a hour-and-a-half movie. I got a call that said, "Okay, we're going virtual with it. Okay, never mind. We're just canceling them. Okay, your kids are now out of school for at least 2 weeks." All in the matter of an hour and a half, I got 3 phone calls. And then by the time we left the theater, because Kerry and I worked together at the time, we were told our office was closed for at least 2 weeks too, all in the matter of that span. And the guy in front of us, you remember the guy in front of us? He slept through the whole movie. He was like this when we left.
I stayed in the movie to make sure the plot was still there. So if Iggy had any questions, I was going to fill them in. It was definitely, I need to go to the movie theater and see something else because I can't let that be my last memory of going to a movie theater.
That cannot be your last memory of going to the movie theater. That's kind of sad.
Yeah. When's the last time you went to the movie theater?
Ooh. So I don't go to the movie theaters by choice, not by COVID. I struggle with crowds and I struggle with pretty much people that go see movies. There's usually too much noise for my liking. There's always somebody on their phone and I just get annoyed. And I struggle with like just that amount of people around about me. So I could not even tell you. I honestly don't remember.
That's a great point. I've always wanted to ask this is that because you have so much respect for the people that are in the movie, the people that made the movie and all of those kind of things. And when someone someone's not paying attention or they're maybe disrespecting it.
Yeah, it's just distracting. And I mean, there's some movies that you have to go see in the movie theater, but for the most part, I don't really love it.
I got schooled one day when I left during the credits and someone started yelling at me.
Yeah.
Like, no, you respect everybody that did this. You will watch every name. And I'm like, and this was, and also this was before they did that cool little scene at the end, right? Where you stayed to see that, like Deadpool or whatever. This was where you're just like, okay, first assistant to the assistant. Okay, all right. Great job, Greg. Great job. Okay. And you're sitting there like
the chef.
But I got schooled pretty quickly right then. And then I always had respect and always turn my phone off. And even like we talked about with the draft house, you know, you're eating, you're drinking, which in my case I'm drinking. But and I always felt like it took away from the entertainment aspect. Like if you're seeing kind of a thriller, I'm waiting for that moment where I kind of jump out of my seat. And if I've got a whiskey in my hand, that's a lot of whiskey and a very expensive whiskey, and I don't want that to happen. But I've always been interested to see if people actually still go for entertainment.
This is a work of art that people have put together, and plus everybody that's here, we've all earned our money and we want to go, and we don't need to be part of your I don't know, phone dating or whatever the hell it is you're doing. Like, leave it at home.
They're swiping right during the movie.
Yeah, unless it's Idris Elba. Is it Idris or Idris? I don't know. If it's The Rock and Idris Elba, you know.
I mean, you're from the, you know, across the pond. However you say it, I feel like is how we should say it.
I don't know. I don't know. I think I always thought it was Idris, but it could be Idris.
What sounds more seductive? Because you have. Because I feel like, however it should be, because like I remember Luther, like I loved Luther.
Oh, I love that show.
Right? Like I mean, there's a lot of good things that he's done, but that's kind of where like I felt like the scolding, where he was just quiet, very, very just come across as I'm just here to do my job and leave. Like I love Idris Elba, but then there's been like a couple misses, so I'm especially. Like Fast and Furious.
I mean, I'm like, should we Google this? Like, is this worth like Googling and getting a pronunciation?
Absolutely.
Like,
right.
let's see if we can get a pronunciation on his name. I mean, the man deserves respect. I mean,
I'm on it.
I mean, we did technically work in language for a lot of years, but I couldn't tell you.
I think in my head I've always said Idris Elba, but that's because I don't know him personally, so I'm not going, hey Idris, pass me a beer, you know, like, not like chatting with him. So
what you get, Iggy? What did it say?
It is Idris Elba. Idris Elba is the American pronunciation. The British pronunciation sounded more like an Idris Elba almost.
Idris Elba, that's how I would say it. Idris Elba is how I would say it. Idris, yeah. Idris.
According to the internet, and the internet's never wrong.
You just did it.
Idris.
Yeah.
Lure him in. So we talked about the movie experience. I completely understand. Now, I love going to theaters. I grew up, my family was a huge movie. I have, and Kerry knows it, like thousands of movies in my house. I buy movies all the time and watch movies. And I have the subscription now. Well, that's been on hold for a year, but to the theater. And the funny thing is for a long period of time there, before I was dating my current partner, I would go to the movies by myself, and Kerry never believed me. But I was the same way. I don't want somebody sitting there talking to me, so I would go Monday at 11 p.m.
Yes.
or I'd duck out of work on Friday at 10 a.m. and I'd go and watch. But even those times, it never failed. I went and saw that summer the Apollo 11 documentary came out on IMAX. And I went and I cut out of work at like 1 p.m. on a Friday in the giant IMAX theater at the AMC. And I go, and there's like two other people way spread out in there. Yes. And I sit down, trailers start, the movie's already started. And I watch this big guy with this giant thing of popcorn come walking up. And I knew it just from the moment I saw him. He's going to sit right next to me. And in a theater that had maybe 200 open seats at least, he sat literally right behind me and just with that popcorn, and I was like, oh my gosh, This is the worst experience ever.
It's probably because you picked the best seat in the house.
Yeah.
And so there are there is a sweet spot in a movie theater. There really
That's
is.
fair.
So, I'm pretty particular. I don't like to be off to the sides. I definitely cannot sit in the nosebleeds. I can't be looking up so that I'm looking up their nose. It's like, you want to be sort of like middle back, center, so. And I actually just remembered when you said that, you gave me permission, because I really do feel like the Grinch, but you gave me permission because I'm like, that's kind of my tactic. I do go to the movie theaters when I went, but I go at like 11 o'clock on a Wednesday. And I just remembered the last movie. It was the Girl on the Train. Is that what it was called?
Oh yeah, good movie.
Is that
So
David?
the foreign one's coming out right now, and I didn't know there was apparently an American version that came out. Was that 3-4 years ago now?
Oh man, that was Emily Blunt, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
dude, she killed
I
it.
didn't see.
Yes.
Yeah, because what Hollywood always does. The book came out, right? It's based on the book. It got in all the book club circles, and then they just made a movie. But Emily Blunt, it's kind of like was it Gone Girl?
Oh, that's the David Fincher one. Gone Girl is the David Fincher one. I don't think Girl on the Train was David Fincher.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo was also Fincher. That may be why you're
No, I was
mixing them up.
thinking about Gone Girl, because Gone Girl was an amazing book until it got to like the twist, and then I was like, oh come on.
No. Until she killed NPH. Once that happens, no man, I'm out. You kill Neil Patrick Harris, I'm done. I can't do it.
You ever put up a banner at the beginning? If you have not seen Gone Girl,
Spoiler
please
alert.
do not watch this podcast, because we're about to spoil it for you.
We're at like 5 years. They're on their own for that one. Then we're gonna get angry.
I really like the way they did that. That was the first time I really remember where they kind of did one version of the story, right? Like one viewpoint, and then they completely switched it to the other viewpoint, and then brought it together towards the end. I really appreciated that, except for Ben Affleck in that. Other than that, I feel like it was a really good movie.
Yeah, it's like Ben Affleck. It's weird. It's like he's actually he's very good in some stuff, but he's not as great in other stuff. He's actually weirdly really good in stuff that he self-directs.
Right. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Affleck directed stuff is awesome.
But when he self-directs himself, he's actually really great. But it's like, I feel like some of the stuff he's been in where he's not in charge, he's not as good, but at the stuff that he's done himself is amazing. Like, and I always thought he was okay, but I never thought he was a great actor. And then I saw him in, what's the one that he did? The river one, the one set in Boston. Well, there was two.
Oh, The Departed? No.
No, The Town. The Town was one of them that he said in Boston. Yes.
And then, it's his brother. You know what? I've got. I'm thinking about Casey Affleck.
Casey Affleck was in the Clint Eastwood one. It's not Mystic River. It's the other one that's like it. It's where the kid gets like kidnapped or whatever.
Gone Baby Gone?
Yes, that's the one.
I love how we're like bringing in like, Gone Girl, Gone Baby Gone,
Gone Baby Gone, Girl on the Train, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yeah.
7 Degrees to Kevin Bacon.
Actually, I've always felt like with Ben Affleck, when he directs, he brings an amazing cast.
Yeah.
When he's by himself, he's kind of the biggest billing, and it kind of makes it difficult. But when he can self-direct, he really brings good people into the picture, and they are the ones that drive kind of the story and the plot and make it really good. And he just gets to act on top of it, which is awesome. I mean, Argo is the one that I'm thinking of where it's just absolutely insane how good it is.
Alan Arkin isn't John Goodman. Like, you're right. He does get some good cast, because Jeremy Renner in The Town blew me away. That's for sure.
That's when like Jeremy Renner came out, like before
I didn't care for him that much before then. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Hurt Locker was awesome. Like, I mean, a lot of people kind of go back and forth on it. I thought it was just a great one person kind of movie, right? Like it centers around him. It takes you into his life. It really kind of makes you not care about other characters. It's just about him and his development. And then at the end, it's kind of an interesting thing. It's not Guy Ritchie. Who's the dude? The guy from Memento.
The Australian actor.
Is Guy Pearce?
Yes, Guy
Guy
Pearce.
Guy Pearce is in it for a minute and then he's gone. But I always forget
that scene in L.A. Confidential with Guy Pearce in the interrogation room.
But then the Hurt Locker won the Oscar, right?
I get really excited.
Didn't she win the Oscar for directing that?
Yeah, she did.
She beat Avatar or whatever it was, right? That was the big scandal or the big Hollywood
her ex-husband. Well, it wasn't a scandal.
Her ex-husband, yeah.
Cameron was even promoting her though. He's like, her movie is a better like his was just a spectacle, which was cool to see what he did with 3D, but exactly right. And if I remember correctly, I think she was the first woman to win the directing award that late, like already. It was ridiculous. And then since then, I think maybe one woman has been nominated. So like, it's ridiculous. But...
I mean, Hollywood, the whole Hollywood foreign press thing, it's like, you know, they're always getting called out for shenanigans. So it's interesting. You know, as an actor, I get the SAG screeners for the SAG Awards, and usually the SAG Awards are in February, I think.
Right.
And they've been barely trickling in, but it's just all TV because there's no movies. Like there's some movies, but it's like there's no big blockbuster cinema theater releases because nothing came out last year. It's kind of interesting. It's very interesting.
That's a good segue because one of the things that I have conversations about a lot is character development. In an hour and a half, or now we're kind of in the 2 to 2.5 hour time slot for movies, it's still hard to develop characters. But an 8-episode TV show, you're really able to kind of bring in characters, maybe not the main one, but also develop around it. And I feel like that's kind of where people are naturally gravitating towards. Do you see that in your profession? Do you think that's kind of it? Or is it more, it's easier to do a television show than it is to do a major motion picture?
From what perspective? Like, what do you mean? Like, is it easier from?
Well, you go to like 2020, right, where COVID kind of takes everything by storm.
Yeah,
we're still seeing new pilots and new shows, and shows continue. But as far as like major motion pictures, you know, you're getting a handful, and they're really on HBO Max that I've seen them kind of coming across. So why do you think there's such a big push for that time frame to be more TV and that versus major motion pictures?
Well, I think basically, I mean, nothing got shot last year. I have friends that are in all different sides of the industry, and nothing got shot. I mean, LA closed down, Atlanta closed down, like for a long time. Like, I think Vancouver was still going. I think a lot of stuff was still kind of coming out of Vancouver, but the USA, anything that was being filmed here for long periods of time just got shut down. And so it was interesting because there's a lot of TV that came out that was probably filmed like before and came out in 2020 that was quite successful. But segue to video games. Video games in 2020 became the new movie-going experience. Because
why do you say that?
Well, because I know why. Because as a voice actor, we didn't stop. That last year was my best year as a voice actor. I earned the most I earned ever last year, and I actually consecutively booked more work last year in high-profile projects than I did previous to that. So 2020 for voice acting was an unbelievably wonderfully productive year, both for developers and also for actors, because we got to work from home. We don't need to go anywhere. I have a closet studio. I step into my closet and I have a whole recording set up in there. So I mean, it's hilarious. I did the entire season 7 that I recorded so Apex Legends goes in seasons. And so every season is 3 months long. And I started recording literally at lockdown. Like, I think I started recording around April when we just got locked down. I did it all from home. I did facial capture where I had to wear like the whole rig, like the motion capture rig, where I had the helmet and like all the dots in my face. And I was doing like all the facial capture for my trailer. I did it all in my closet from home. And just everything that I did, I've done ADR for big movies. I've done like everything that I did commercials. I did everything that I did last year. I did from home, and it's the same across the board for all voice actors. So we didn't skip a beat. We didn't get shut down. I mean, yes, studios closed, but the voiceover industry scrambled like within weeks. I mean, I already had a home set up, but some people didn't, because people were used to going into their agencies to audition or going into studios. But I literally just hit the ground running. It was like, I remember when the pandemic happened, I booked a commercial like the first day of lockdown. And then I just didn't stop from there. And I know a lot of people last year that were the same. And that is where it's kind of elevated. So video games, sorry, this has become a really long.
No.
But video games literally became movies because people they're not able to leave the house. They can't and don't want to go anywhere. So people went out and bought surround sound, massive screen TVs. Like people got the PS5, people like upgraded all their gaming equipment that were gamers. And now they just sit and they play these incredible cinematic, games, because that's what games have become. Games have become like mini movies or mini TV series. Like Apex Legends is seasonal, so we're like a TV series. It's like we are literally every 3 months it's a new season, a new legend. The lore changes, but the lore that was before that continues, and so it's like literally just this like evolving story. And a lot of video games, like I don't know, Last of Us, or I'm trying to think like those more cinematic ones, like people just want to sit and play those, they just want to sit and just immerse themselves in the experience. And so video games have really become a hot commodity in this pandemic. It's very interesting. And, we have a very active community with Apex Legends. The gaming community and the fan base, gaming base is just so loyal and so passionate, and it's crazy. It's like, I love it. I'd never experienced anything like this before. And I really think that that's what's so unique about this game, is like, it just has this incredible ongoing support. And so it literally is like being in like an animated show. It is. It's like the cast, we're all, it's not like we come in and we leave. Like if I do a video game, for example, I don't know if you guys play, but I did a big VR game last year, or 2019, called Asgard's Wrath. It was huge. It was like this 60, I think it was like 45 hours of beautiful, so gorgeous. And we spent years creating that, and then it came out, and now it's like, move on to the next thing. It's like, but with something like Apex, it's like, because it's seasonal, it just keeps going. It just keeps turning around. And I kind of feel like that's a really good direction for video games to go in. But what's also happening is a lot of video game franchises are now becoming either series or movies. I know that Assassin's Creed is getting a live action series. Halo is getting a live action series. And I think there's a movie there's like movies for a couple of other titles as well. So
The Last of Us has been optioned. I mean, they're almost done with Uncharted. I think Tom Holland and So yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, Assassin's Creed, like Michael Fassbender can't ruin that. So after that movie came out, like I feel like we were all, I mean, that's going back. Like, and I love the way you say it, because like I just bought a PS4. I have to go in increments. I went from like the PS3, and I just now got like the PS4. But I think the one question I had to that, and Iggy, I don't want to step on your toes. I know you got questions too. But the big thing for me in how you say it is, it also seems like the user element also plays into that cinematic, kind of approach to it. In a movie, you're kind of sitting back, you're waiting for something to happen, and if you're like most of us, you kind of assume what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And when it happens, you're like, oh, no big surprise. But in a video game, you're in control in some aspect.
Yeah.
So it not only gives you the graphics and all this amazing writing and character development, but it also allows you to control it. And so why would you ever watch a movie when you can watch it and also have some control over it at the same time?
Yeah. Wait, by the way, did I say is it not the PS5? I thought it was a PS5.
No, he's behind. He's behind. He just got a PS4. The PS5 is right.
So you're basically the slow character that I
yeah
for Fast and Furious You're that slow character.
I wait until a 13-year-old sells his PS4 to get a little bit of money to pay for the PS5. So
basing it on you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm that guy. I'm helping resellers out.
Okay.
I'm the reason why GameStop, their stock price increased.
So real quick, before we get into the Fast and Furious questions, you talk about Horizon and Apex Legends with quite a bit of passion and excitement. Is that your baby, or is there another project you've done that just is it for you?
Oh no, Horizon's it. Horizon.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, she's it. I mean, she is, you know, there's so many reasons. It's like the writing was, I remember when I first saw my scripts and I was like, oh my God, this is so fun. She's written so well. The conceptual idea for her, it changed a lot. She was originally a bad guy, like a really evil person, and she morphed into this, like, she's literally like she's a mother. She's a single mother, or I don't know. I think she's a single mother because there's no man in the picture, but she's a mother. I don't know if you know her lore, but she solved an energy crisis. She lives in her home planet is called Olympus, and she solved this energy crisis. She found an element that was going to save it, and she had to go out in deep space, and she was betrayed by her assistant, and she ended up orbiting a black hole for 87 years. And when she came back, her son was already in the lore trailer. Her son it was like 87 years later, and everything was just ruined. And so the reason I love her is because she's just, you know, she's funny, she's smart, she's loving, she's kind, she's quippy. Like, I love all her writing, but she came out and her season was called Ascension. And I remember, like, when it came out, I was just like, oh, this is exactly what we need. It came out in November, you know, right around the election. Everyone was burned out from the year. And this beautiful lore trailer, oh my God, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like the work that was put into this was incredible. And so that's why she's my baby, because she came out for me personally at a time when I needed her, and the response to her has been overwhelming. Like, a lot of the gamers really warmed to her because, I mean, Apex is a murder game. There's no other way to say it. Everyone's just blowing each other up and killing each other. But she's so kind, and she's so funny, and she's so cute, and she's sarcastic, and she has a Scottish accent. And so people just love her. People are warming to her. Plus, she's actually really well designed. She has, I don't know at this point, but she was #1. Like, she was like the top ranked legend that was being used. And I've seen a bunch of gameplay where professional gamers have been using her in tournaments. And she was winning. Like, I've seen a bunch of really fun gameplay of her. So she's quite an achievement for me personally as the voice actress who just got lucky. You know, I got chosen. But she's quite an achievement for Respawn, which is the company, because she was being developed for about 2 years, and season 7 was a big season. But I think she was the first character that was sort of concept and designed through Respawn Canada, which is the new branch. And Respawn just they're $1 billion company this year. They just hit $1 billion. So the Apex Legends is $1 billion franchise, and the game just hit their 2-year anniversary. So wow. It's pretty amazing. So for all the reasons, it's like, she's definitely, you know, she's my favorite character I've ever played, but I'm also very proud to be part of that team because they're incredibly talented, and just this game's not going anywhere. I think it's just going to keep going in whatever direction it goes, but it's really popular. So yay me.
It's awesome. Though before we move on, I will say though, your excitement and your passion for it is one of those things that I think drives it. You always see from games, books, music, whatever it is, when people have that much passion into it, the projects are that much better, and it makes it that much more entertaining. So really sounds fantastic and exciting. And I'm going to be honest, I haven't played the game. But just from this conversation right now, I mean, Kerry's probably gonna have to go buy it for his PS2. Is that where you're at? As you say, like,
I'm waiting for mobile. I hope it's on the iPhone 3S. If it's on the iPhone 3S, we're good.
Okay. All right. Well, we are way over time, but we do have one more thing we have to do in this session, and it's a very important thing to do. It's time for a showdown.
What are you smiling about?
Dude, I almost had you.
You almost had me.
All right. So I'm going to switch spots with you, Kerry, because you're going to put Elle versus me on a questionnaire here, and we're going to basically quiz its quotes. Is it a Fast and Furious quote, or is it one of Elle's characters' quotes? So, all right, Kerry.
Okay, so how are we going to do this? So I'll say the quote, and you guys write it down, or do you want me to ask Elle first, then yourself? A different one? How do you want to do it?
Let's start. You ask her, and if she gets it if she gets it wrong, then I can't still because it's just take turns. Yeah, we'll just take turns.
Okay.
We'll take turns.
All right. So Iggy, we'll start with you. Make it easy that Elle can kind of sit back.
Or here's this. Here's this is when it's if you ask her, I can say I think she's wrong or right, just to add another element to it, and then vice versa. So your answer. Okay.
Well, you guys can just say Elle can say I think it's this. You can say you think it's that, and you can either trust that she knows her own voice. Or,
this was obviously very well planned out.
Yes. Right. Episode 0. This is not going to air. All right. So we'll start with the first one. So,
okay.
All right. Let's see here. I'll make it the first one very easy, very simple sentence. This is the end, my friend.
I don't think I've ever said that.
I'm gonna say she said it then, since she said she didn't.
You did say that. You did it in your short film called Dressing Down.
Oh my God. Okay.
I'm all about like researching Dressing Down. Very interesting short film.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you still know it's out there. It is still out there. This is the end, my friend, is a quote that you used in that short film.
I have an absolutely hilarious story. I know we're so over time. Can I very quickly?
Please do. Please do. We can go. There's no commercials and no end, so we can go as long as we
got whiskey. We're good.
We filmed that. We filmed a segment. Okay, if you guys have watched it, then clearly you've seen there's like a weird, like almost like a bondage scene, but there's no bondage happening. It's just I'm dressed in a very provocative outfit. Right? It's that movie, right? Wait.
Yeah, it's like a weird, like almost like first person, where it's a lot of you like doing a monologue, and then there's like a dude like halfway through. But it definitely seems like that would fit into what you were talking about. Yeah.
Like, what movie is this?
We'll like put a little like segment. But yeah, it was a very interesting. I had a hard time understanding what it was for, but it was. I think that's what you're talking about.
I have to Google this because I'm it's like
it is Googleable. I did Google it.
Since you can work around this,
this is all staying in. This is all staying in.
I love that you're like, I didn't know.
Oh, no, that's a different movie. Okay, never mind. So the other story doesn't make sense now. But
well, we'll have to podcast again sometime soon and get to the other story. Then that's what we'll have to do.
People are going to be like searching Elle Newlands bondage. Like, is it going well? It's not a bondage movie. It's no softcore. It was just this very weird scene. I'll just tell you the story. It was this very weird scene in this short film that I did where it was a dream sequence, and the guy, I don't even know. It was like I was just wearing like this very sexy gear, and my friend was the director, and she wanted to film it on campus at UCLA inside one of the sculptures in the sculpture garden. I don't know how. I think it might have been a student film. This was a long time ago, and so oh my God, I walked across campus with a dressing gown, but when I got to the part where we were filming it, I dropped the dressing gown. She had filmed it on a day where it was a visitor, like days where kids and families can come visit to see if they want to go to school. And so I dropped my dressing gown, and I'm literally in thigh-high leather boots, fishnets, and this leather thing. And I just remember like these parents, this mother, father, and son go past, And like the guy's eyes were on stalks, and she said, "Well, we're crossing this one off our list." Oops, sorry, you silly. Anyway, dressing down. Okay, I must have said that then.
I had to condense it. I think there was like a good amount in there, but yeah, if you haven't seen it, definitely worth a watch there. So I believe point goes to Iggy on that one there. Great job.
I love.
All right. All right.
All right. One of my favorite lines. I'll have the tuna, no crust.
That's not my line.
I'm gonna say Fast and Furious as well.
Yeah, that's Fast and Furious.
That
I feel
is
like you.
Fast and Furious. Yes.
Okay, you gave it away. Was it the first Fast and Furious, or all these the first Fast and Furious?
All of these would be quotes from the
Okay.
first Fast and Furious.
Since we're doing them in order. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Let's see. To know victory, one must also know their opponent, their dreams, their ambitions, their regrets, and their fears.
To know victory, one must know their opponent, their dreams, their ambitions, and their regrets. That's me. That was Scotch Butler, the Scottish butler from Adventure Time.
I don't know if I'm sold here. No. Yeah, that line's too smart to be a Fast and Furious line. It's way too smart to be a Fast and Furious.
Yeah. Also a great scene. You're playing chess in that. We had a lot of fun at school watching that over and over again with my kids. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, that was a really fun line. I did not do it justice, so definitely edit that out and do her version because that's what it's supposed to sound like.
Adventure Time's so great too. So good one there.
Butterscotch Butler was your character, right?
Yeah, Butterscotch Butler, the Scottish Butterscotch Butler. That's the whole title.
I love that show.
Awesome. Stop napping. We have to get off this rock. It's going to get really explodey real quick.
Oh, that's me from Star Wars. That's Star Wars, Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens. I'm Lieutenant Wright, and it's Return to Star Killer Base.
Wow, this is gonna be Kerry. You're not gonna be able to stump her. She's got this stuff down.
Man.
You got her with the old one, but it sounds like everything. She's naming the characters. She's naming the titles. She's got it.
All right, I got to go to House Husbands of Hollywood then. Maybe like throw her off a little bit. That is correct. That is your character in Lego Star Wars. So excellent. But I did love that. Stop napping. We have to get off this rock. I thought it might go either way. Maybe as Fast and Furious, but and how long ago did you do that? Like Lego Star Wars seems like it's pretty recent.
Yeah, that was a couple of years ago. I mean, it was like after Star Wars: The Force Awakens, which I did a bunch of ADR and on Star Wars: The Force Awakens. So that was really cool because I got to see the newest Star Wars movie. I got to go to the cast and crew screening because I got to see the newest Star Wars movie ahead of everyone else in the world by like a week, which is so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was 2016 is what I see right here. But okay, Kerry, give us one more.
All right. You can have any brew you want as long as it's a Corona.
That's Vin Diesel. That's Vin Diesel.
Yeah, I didn't say that.
You didn't say that?
Drink his Iron Brew, which is made for burgers in Scotland.
The only reason I know that for sure, Kerry, is when I was doing those little video transition clips and I had to find audio to put over them. That was one of the clips that I almost put over.
I'll be honest. If you go back and read the transcript of Fast and Furious 1, not a lot of quotable lines you can say in 2021. So I figured the product placement for Corona, that was also a selling point in the pitch meeting.
We need some sponsors
Corona in there. We're good.
Yeah.
We need some sponsors. Awesome. Well, Elle, it's been a blast. We definitely have to have you back. We do all kinds of fun podcasts, so I'll definitely reach out. We had a lot of good times in this double episode pretty much, but it was worth it. It definitely good too, because you didn't have to go to a theater. You didn't have to get crowded by people. We got to do it right here in the comfort of our own home.
I feel like a horrible curmudgeon.
Well, before we go, I know we didn't really talk about it, but you mentioned your Zentography. I got pulled up your Zentography.net photography page. Is there anything else you'd like to plug before we close out?
I'd love to plug my social media if I can.
Definitely, definitely.
So I'm on Instagram as Elle Newlands Graham, like my name with Graham, and then I'm on Twitter as Elle Newlands, and I'm on TikTok where I have a remarkable amount of followers, and I guess it's for Apex Legends. I was like shocked when I went one day, and I was like, "What?" But I do make funny videos and stuff, like so. I think like that's probably some of it. But I'm also starting a podcast. I'm going to be doing, it's not a video podcast like this, or maybe it will, I don't know. It's going to be a podcast called Elevating Conversations with ELLE at the beginning. Elevating Conversations with Elle. And it's going to be talking to people in the industry, not just the film industry, but just creatives. And I want to get behind like what's people's process, like break down what's inside their brain. Because I really want to know what makes creative people tick.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we'll link as much of that as we can. And we wish you the best of success on that podcast. I think it'll be great. We've had a blast here for sure. And like I said, we'll definitely want you to come back. Again, this is I'm Not Famous, our brand new session airing every Wednesday across April and May. And in between seasons of Project Unreal, which you can catch Project Unreal, I'm Not Famous, the Nerdcast, Versus, and The Last Word, all on PN1, our main Project Nerd podcast feed. You can go wherever you catch your podcast and type in Project Nerd Podcast to find that, or you can head on over to projectnerd.com/podcast. That's project-nerd.com/podcast. Kerry, Elle, I don't want it to end. I'm having a blast, but I guess we've got to go and enjoy the rest of our weekends. So until next time.
Do.